The minimum wage has lost a whopping 58% of its purchasing power since it was last updated in 2009. How does one come to this figure, you may be wondering? Well, in 2009, the median priced home in America cost $216,700, while today the median priced home costs $416,900. Therefore, in 2009, assuming you earned the minimum wage, it would require working 29,890 hours to purchase a home. Today, the figure is 57,503 hours. In other words, in only 16 years, the number of worked hours required to purchase the median-priced home in America has nearly doubled. In order to purchase the median-priced home today in the same time frame someone earning minimum wage could in 2009, you would need to be earning $13.95. Although the data isn't crystal clear, it could be guessed that around 15% of hourly earners in America are making below this figure today. In other words, a fair segment of the population is making less real money than someone paid minimum wage was 16 years ago. Real progress if I've ever seen any. Apart from home prices, how do these numbers look when priced in gold? In other words, how many ounces of gold could you purchase per year making minimum wage today versus in 2009? Since gold is the king of storing value, it is often the best benchmark to value purchasing power over time. In 2009, a worker earning minimum wage could purchase 15.51 ounces of gold per year at the average price of $972.35. Today, a minimum wage worker could purchase only 4.46 ounces of gold per year at the current price of around $3,379.70, a staggering decrease of 71.2%. In order to earn the same number of ounces today as a minimum wage worker in 2009, you would need to earn, yes, as the title says, $25.20 per hour. Wow. Using the slightly cloudy AI data at our fingertips, it could be estimated that around 55% of hourly earners in America are earning less than this figure, in which case I would argue over half of hourly earners in America are making less than minimum wage paid back in 2009. So, what do these figures tell us? Well, once upon a time in America, the dollar was backed by gold, meaning you could swap your dollar bills for real gold at a fixed price. In other words, when you got a pay raise every year, you actually earned more real money because the number of hours worked required to purchase an ounce of gold decreased, therefore making you richer as you worked harder and earned more money. Sadly, once America abandoned the gold standard in 1971, things headed off a cliff very rapidly. Now, when you earn a 2 or 3% raise at work each year, you're actually earning less real money than the year before, which could be a major arguing force as to why more Americans seem to be getting poorer and poorer despite working harder and harder. For those interested, there are some fantastic charts available on the website WTFhappened in1971.com. Here are a few that might catch your eyes. In using this data, it could be strongly argued that ever since America abandoned the gold standard, the American dream has been dying a slow yet extremely painful death. So, what can you do to protect yourself? Well, this is not financial advice, but many young people have turned to Bitcoin as a safe haven from the devaluing currency. Unfortunately, there is not much you can do to avoid getting a real pay cut every year, but what you can do is start accumulating these real assets like gold, Bitcoin, and real estate that appreciate as the government devalues your currency. In the last 16 years have taught us anything, it is that the government will keep printing money, assets will keep going up in value, and that real wages will continue plummeting, making each younger generation poorer and poorer than the previous. It is an ugly death spiral, but at least if you understand the game, you might have a chance of surviving. Cheers.